This is a coaching session where I help somebody change their frame around money. For some people, if you frame things as easy, they won't do it. But if you frame it as hard, then they rise to the challenge. If you've been struggling to stay consistent on something that really means something to you, then this will help. It takes a second for it to get going, but it's worth it. So, what are you working on? And what would you say is the top point of resistance?
Well, day job. I run a logistics office, and my passion is men's coaching, and figuring out how to maintain two things at once is probably the biggest challenge, because when one gets going strong, the other, without fail, requires more energy.
Of course. And how's the men's coaching going?
Going okay. Haven't put a lot into it due to the restraints with day job and other obligations.
Okay.
So part of the focus there now is the podcast that I'm starting with an associate.
Yep. Have you gotten clients for the men's coaching?
Yeah, I've got a couple clients.
And where did they come from?
Just personal affiliations, friends, referrals.
Great. And what do you want?
I want to do coaching full time.
Do you know the expression, if you like cooking, never start a restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
What does that bring to mind when I say that?
What are the demands that are associated with running the business, of not just doing the coaching, but undertaking everything?
Yeah. Do you want to make a lot of money? A little bit of money? Do you care much about money?
It's not my focus. I know it's possible. It's not that difficult. So, that's not my focus.
Could you tell me how much money you're making right now and what you'd like to make?
Yeah, I'm around 80K for the year. I'd rather be 300 to 400K a year.
Okay. Cool.
And that's, that can be done pretty straightforward. I know. Again, motivation to focus and maintaining over time with all of my obligations.
Well, it can be done. I'm going to push a little bit on the pretty straightforward part, and I'll explain why in a second. But all of the marketing gurus online say it can be done no problem.
Yeah.
And they'll charge you to make it be done no problem. And it turns out it's really hard. It's really, really hard to increase your income. There's a point at which, like, having the mindset and mental frameworks of, I do this with ease, this is easy for me, etc., are really useful. But I think, even in this very short amount of time that we've spoken so far, I bet a really good win for you was to start to think of making money as extremely difficult.
You're saying a good win for me would be to start thinking of money as being very difficult to earn.
Yes. Yeah, I bet this is some counterintuitive advice that nobody's ever said. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're having trouble staying focused. And men often focus when there's a challenge in front of them. It's a great thing for somebody to, like, be in a manifestation and be like, I'm going to do this with ease, and, like, money just comes to me, and so on and so forth. But for somebody who wants to accomplish things, or to be on their mission, or to make a big difference in the world, sometimes it can have a counterintuitive effect where it makes them unfocused. Because the thing that's going through their brain is, well, this is easy and there's a lot of hard problems in the world, so let me go work on those. And so if you thought of increasing your earning potential as a challenge, then you might put more mental attention on it. And if you did that, you would probably start doing the things that you want to do, because the impact that you want to make I mean, if you care about doing men's coaching, then you really care about making an impact. The impact that you want to make would start to occur because moving money, moving financial energy is a really big component of making change in anyone's life. What does that spark for you?
Just a different perspective on what I've applied in my life in other areas.
Does it sound like bullshit, or does it sound...
No. I play disc golf professionally.
Uh-huh.
And when I don't have tournaments to prepare for, it can be months, as I am right now, of not playing. There's no challenge ahead of me.
Yes.
When there's a challenge, then I need about X amount of days to get ready for it, and then there's a process.
Yeah, this is a big issue in men's work because I do a lot of men's work as well. This is a big issue for men. Is a lot of the manifestation, a lot of the spirituality components, a lot of these things are framed in a way that work well for women. And it's simply because it's not for any bad reasons. It's actually because women tend to be more aware in general. And so women became aware of the need for self-development faster than men, right? And so our current industries, a lot of them, the self-development industries that came up were based in what women wanted and what women needed and the change that they saw that needed to happen. And so that's positive. But the result is we say things like, you deserve self-care. And that is a sentence that men hate. They can't stand that sentence because the sentence that men like is, it is your responsibility to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because that is what enables you to do greater work for everyone around you.
Yeah.
And so I'm inviting you into the frame of making more money might be the biggest challenge you have ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a real smile.
Yeah, it's that I can overcome challenges.
Yeah, you can. You're built for it. And so if you don't think of it as a challenge, then you're like, what am I here for? Why am I even doing this? What's the point? I know this is easy. So why am I here? It's my purpose to do hard things. It's my job. It's in my DNA. And so some people, I actually built a personality test that is based around this.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's great. And it's also now free to take. So you can just go grab it. Some people respond more to pressure and some people respond more to vacuum. And so the way this comes out in different ways. For some people, they need a deadline and that helps them get more done. But the reality is for other people, if you take the deadline away, now they're like, oh my God, I have all this free time. There's so much I want to do. And then they go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people respond to pressure. Some people respond to vacuum.
Right.
And this can take on the image of challenge. Some people, another form of pressure and vacuum is this is a challenge versus this is easy. And some people get more done when you say, look, this is really hard. And they go, oh, I'm going to crush it. And then other people, you go, look, this is really easy. And they go, oh my God, it's so easy. I can do 20 of them. Right? And the person who likes the challenge, when you say it's easy, they go, well, what's the point? And the person who likes ease, vacuum, you tell them it's a challenge. And they go, well, that's too hard. I don't want to do that. Right? And so different people respond different ways. And you respond to challenge. You need some pressure in your life. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's the mindset stuff. Let's talk about actionable stuff. So you want to do men's coaching. Do you want to not have your job anymore and just be doing this?
Yeah. Yes, and I don't know how to make that transition right now.
Okay. What do you perceive as your primary way to get clients? So far, you've gotten them via personal network. Do you feel like you can get them via referral? Do you think you can get them online? What would you like to approach?
I'd like to have something that's a little more automated. So, and I like to write. So, probably writing. I have a couple of small publications, and then I'd like to do this podcast with my friend. I'd rather spend my time doing those things that are productive to give everybody opportunities to the insight as to what they can implement in their lives.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to create content.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So, how much content are you producing right now?
Up until the last few weeks, I was doing a few solo podcasts a day. Well, probably 6 to 8 a week. And I don't know how to manage all of the stuff when it starts. So I like backlogging as much as I can. And so there's a lot of that content ready to go on my personal end. And then we're starting a new one. So right now, very little with all the demands that I have going, which is part of the dilemma.
All right. So this is another challenge of the narrative of this is easy, is when you think there is ease, you then think, well, I'll take on a bunch of things because I need a challenge. But if you think this is hard, then you actually go, oh, I have very limited resources, which means I need to be as targeted as possible. And so if I want this to succeed, I need to turn this into a spear. And I need to figure out exactly where I can get people and exactly how I'm going to get them. And so one way is you could focus on your podcast. Another way is you could, guest on podcasts. I'm not going to go over all the different ways in which you could do it. You're a person who's been on the internet. You've listened to the courses and all that stuff. I would just say, what would you do if you knew this was one of the hardest things you're ever going to do and you only had 6 months to do it?
Organize it and take action.
Yeah, but tell me specifically, like what
specifically,
like right now, if you couldn't watch one more informational video, what would you do?
Go set up the website, go get all the social stuff, start the content creation for those in media, image, text. Probably use AI on all of it.
Okay, awesome. That's really good. I'm going to hone it in a little bit more. So the way I'd hone it in is I'd say that's still broad. And what we need to do is we need to figure out how to get people's attention and we need to figure out how to convert them. Right? And there are multiple steps to converting. There's attention, and then there is nurturing. And then there's conversion. And I mean, you can split those up into multiple steps, but basically they have to notice you, and then they have to watch you, and then they have to decide. And they can go through multiple steps of watching and deciding, but that's what has to happen. And so you need to figure out how to get in front of people's faces, A. And then you need to figure out how to get them to click a button. And then once they've clicked a button, you need to get them to click the next button until they're on a Zoom call with you or something else. You should make it as few steps as possible. And you should make it as efficient as possible, but not obsess about the efficiency, obsess about the action. And we've got 5 more minutes. We can crack your business in 5 minutes. Let's figure out the place in which we would get attention. And I don't want to say your general personal brand. It's, can you consistently make podcasts and get them reposted in such a way that it gets new eyeballs? Or can you make viral videos on Instagram? Or can you make viral videos on YouTube? Or can you work through a referral network to guest post on different people's newsletters? What is a thing that you think you could achieve that would consistently get you in front of other people's faces?
Yeah, podcasts, that is distributed in the right locations on each platform. Short form for those, TikTok, Instagram, and then long form for YouTube and others with resources attached.
Awesome. That's great. That's what happens once you've built a business, is you have all of that functional. Beforehand, what you need is a way for people to see you in the first place, and you need a way for people to get to know you, right? Attention and nurturing. So podcast is a way for people to get to know you, but if you just post on podcasts, you don't get any views. And so what is the one place that would get attention? And what is the one place that would nurture? I think the one place that would nurture is the podcast. The one place that would get attention, that's complicated, because if you make it all about Instagram, then you need to learn how to make viral short form videos. That's a whole skill set. You have to decide what skill set you're going to learn. And so do you think you could be faster and better at making amazing produced short form content that would get lots of views? Or do you think you'd be faster at, for example, reaching out to other men's coaches and doing something that's helpful to them in a way that you could guest post on their newsletter about your podcast?
Definitely the latter.
Okay, awesome. So then what we can do is we can build a system for regular long form posting, and then build a system for regularly getting other people to put your face in front of their followers. Does that sound achievable?
Yes.
Do you feel like if you saw that as the biggest challenge in your life that you had to accomplish within the next 6 months, that you could accomplish it? I'm not saying it is the biggest challenge. It's probably not. But when we frame it that way, as this is the mountain I need to climb, it becomes appealing.
Yeah.
Okay. You feel excited?
Yeah.
You feel like this is doable?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is like super accurately actionable and a thing you want to do?
Yeah. That's yes.
Okay. Awesome. So right now we're on a slight emotional high, because obviously I've hyped up this idea. And so what I want you to do is, when we get off this call and you start to lose enthusiasm for this idea, I don't want you to think, oh, that was kind of wrong and let me do something totally different. I want you to think, okay, so the mechanism we talked about made sense and it was right, but my brain is probably going to come up with resistance and objections to the specifics of what we decided upon. In other words, the fact that I said you need to get in front of other people's faces is right. The fact that you are specifically going to create an outreach strategy to other men's coach service providers, that might be incorrect. You might need to tweak that slightly. And so I want you to get the core of the message. And when your brain starts to come up with objections to the nuance of what we decided upon, I don't want that to shut you down. I want you to just go, oh, that's to be expected. Now let me hone this in to get it exactly what I'm going to do. And then turn yourself into a spear. If you'd like to strike a balance in your business and in your life, go to apply.joshterryplays.com or go to the link below.